Hello everyone, and welcome to a video I would like to make about solo leveling. I have been reading Solo Leveling, the manhwa. I finished the first season of the anime, and I've been jumping into the manhwa. And I finished season 1 of the manhwa. It's this point in the series where there's a little caption at the bottom that says, "Thank you for reading season 1 of Solo Leveling," and it's got like little drawings at the bottom. And I've been wanting to make a video like this for a couple days now. But I figured, being that chapter, I believe it's 110 or 111, right around there. That's a great stopping point for me to come on and discuss some of my thoughts about it. Um, I want to first start off with no spoilers for people who have only seen the anime. And I guess the biggest thing I should preface is that I do not think solo leveling is bad. Um, I don't think it's a bad series. I don't think it's a trash series. It just feels very mediocre to me for a lot of reasons that I'll discuss in a moment. If you like solo leveling, that's perfectly fine. I think it's better than some other series I've read, and there certainly are things to enjoy about it. Overall, I really struggle with the character of Sung Jin Woo, and I'll dive a little more into that in a second. But really, I would give solo leveling like a 5 out of 10 so far. And the reason I say this is because there's elements of the story that for me are around a 5 or 6, maybe even a 7 with a few specific chapters. But there's also points in the series where I'd say it drops down to like a 3 or 2. So I really just want to balance it out and call it like a 5. It's a series that I've seen somewhat done before, different elements of it at least. But I don't think it's terrible. Now, I'm going to talk about spoilers with events that have occurred past season 1 of the anime. If you're interested in staying, all right. So, my biggest issue, well, I guess let's start off with what I like. Nah, you know what? Yeah, biggest problem. Biggest problem is Sung Jin Woo. He is too powerful. And it gets to a point where I'm so uninterested in the events going on in this story. I am interested in literally every single character and every single event that does not involve him. Um, because like we get things like the Red Gate, and like wow, that's interesting. Um, but Sung Jin Woo just takes care of it, minimal effort. The A rank dungeon that turns out to like be is this massive issue with the misjudging of the radar, and they got the high orcs in there. Wow, that's interesting. Sung Jin Woo just kills all of them. He even like flips one of the orc generals up and down using his levitation ability and like just dogs on them. And it really made it uninteresting. And then this all comes to a head with the Jeju, I believe it's Jeju Island raid. This raid was so good. Like, this was my favorite point in the series. We had all these S class hunters from Japan. People were losing their heads, being torn apart. It was a dire situation. Then Sung Jin Woo shows up to face this Ant King, and the Ant King punches him in the face, and Sung Jin Woo just takes it. He stands there, takes the whole thing, no damage. And it was at that point I lost all interest in this raid because I knew Sung Jin Woo was just gonna beat him. He's gonna win. It's gonna be low diff. Nothing can stop the guy. Same with Char. I believe it's Char. I really don't know how to pronounce a lot of these names. She's badly injured, can't heal her. He does the Arise spell, and she gets healed. I feel like that one I have less issue with actually because of that S class hunter that does heal her, and then he dispels it afterwards. I do like that, but I just feel like there's no stakes here in this story. And then we're introducing like all these national level hunters from like America or China. I don't have much interest in this because I know Sung Jin Woo is just gonna beat them. Now, there are elements to this story that I do really, really like. The number one thing has to be whatever's going on with these gates and these portals. Because at first I thought it was just, oh, your classic fantasy monsters are invading, almost isekai type thing. But then they explore this concept of like how the monster will repeat dialogue or like won't say certain things and it acts like it's part of a game, or how that one orc girl with the purple hair during the 100 Tower thing, like, talks about this demon world and how they just arrived here. And then, of course, there's the whole system thing going on with that statue from the beginning. That's interesting. I am invested in learning about the lore of solo leveling and what's occurring in the background there. But even with the 100 Tower thing, I thought this would be more of a challenge for him. I mean, he gets up to this Demon King, and this is a fight to save his mother's life. And I do like the concept that he cannot use his shadows here. That was interesting. But I feel like he was just not on the back foot at all. It's such a short fight, and then once he drops his blades and punches the Demon King once, he's dead. And I was like, man, I was actually kind of invested in seeing this fight because this is an emotional fight for Sung Jin Woo. He has something that he needs to get out of winning. Uh, but there are things I do like about Sung Jin Woo, and actually it boils down mostly to things that don't involve him fighting. His goal to save his mother, I like. He has this moment where, actually a couple moments, where it feels like he's descending into darkness. And he has this taste for killing when he comes across the murderer and he shows him mercy. That was a good scene. Same with this whole like epilogue dialogue in chapter 110, where he talks about like, hunters and they'll just keep on hunting. That's interesting. And I would actually say I'm more interested to see what occurs after that dialogue and where Sung Jin Woo's character goes. I'm also interested to see his dad. He's someone who popped up and hasn't really been relevant since he popped up, but I'm interested to see what occurred with his dad. Does his dad have any involvement in the demon world being gone for 10 years, or the system thing that Sung Jin Woo is currently dealing with? But it just makes it really difficult for me to want to read this series sometimes because I feel like there's just no stakes. Um, I know Sung Jin Woo is going to beat everything in the end. I'd like to see him have a competitive fight, get his arm broken or something. Have him lose one of his shadows. Maybe not Ingress, because I do like Ingress. But like, I think it's Iron or Tusk or one of them. Have a shadow like die permanently or something like that. But I just feel like he's just gonna win, and I'd like to see him face more challenges. Now, I don't know what comes next. Hopefully, he does face more challenges. But I did just want to kind of get on real quick and discuss some of my problems with solo leveling. But there is things I like about it here. It's certainly not a bad series. And yeah, I think that about wraps up everything I generally wanted to say. That's going to be all for me today. Bye, guys.